Oh, that's better. I can see you now. Hey guys, welcome back. First things first, I suppose. I'd really like to thank all the people so far that have subscribed to my channel. I was just blown away by the amount of people that have actually subscribed to the channel. I started out with no subscribers, and then in the first month or 6 weeks I had 75 subscribers, which I was thrilled with, delighted. And the last video I put out, just kind of skyrocketed, and I now have 208 subscribers. That would be Scott today. Welcome aboard, Scott. He was number 208. And the channel is only starting, so like I really do appreciate the people who have subscribed so far. And I know that there will be a lot of tips and tricks. I know there's a guy that made a comment and he wasn't ready until sometime in August, so he hasn't missed anything as regards the welding end of things. What else was I going to say to you guys? So the video I'm going to do today, right, is a video that was asked by somebody. This woman sent a comment to me, and I thought it was a really good comment, and that is that she was asking, would I make a video? And I'll do this. Actually, it's an idea. It's such a good idea that I'll actually do this for all videos that I make. And basically, that is to do a video of the vehicle, that particular vehicle, that being a bug or a gear or a splitty like behind me, or a bay or whatever. So whatever bus I'll be working on, or car, I'll actually do a video on the areas to watch out for when you guys, or whoever might be, when they're interested in going out and buying the same vehicle. So it's like doing your homework and knowing before you go what to look out for. And that is true to say, because a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, the areas that tend to rust out are most times the same areas. It's always the same areas, more or less. So having said that, that's what this video is going to be about today. It's about if you intend to go out and you're buying, or you're interested in buying a T25, which is what they call them in the UK. I'm here in Ireland. We call them T25s here in Ireland, just the same. T3s in the rest of Europe, and Vanagons in the USA and Canada, and I think Australia as well, or maybe combis. I'm not 100% on what Australia calls the T25s. So so like I said, I'm going to do that video today around my T25, but I will be showing you the areas to look out for if you're looking to buy a T25. Again, I probably will in the end, but I would just like to say I'm blown away by the amount of views on the last video and the subscription rate. So again, thank you guys. Your support in subscribing really means a lot to me. It gives me the motivation to come out and bring the camera with me. I don't come out every day to do, but when I do come out, I bring the camera, and it's a motivator. At the very least, it's a motivator. So I thank you for coming on board and coming on this journey with me and my little friend down there, Buster. Yeah, like I said, he's always there or thereabouts. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna take you around my T25 and show you. You'll see some of the stuff that you've seen already in the videos, but it's a good time, I suppose, to get it out of the way as well. A video like that that you can actually see what to watch out for. Yeah? Okay, so come on with me. Okay guys, so I was thinking, right, and I've got some other examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film just what I think is enough that if you were going off to buy a T25, what to look out for. And I suppose the best thing to do is, if you're going off to buy a T25 or whatever, is to start at the front, right? Just start at the front and work your way around. Believe it or not, if I'm restoring something, that's what I tend to do. Start at the front and work my way back along, you know, the driver's side or the passenger side. Work your way back along. It's the easiest way to try and condition yourself and to remember stuff and to work through in that fashion. By the time you get round, you know you've completed everything step by step. And also I would advise as well, if anybody was going out buying, whoever is selling the bus, I would just ask them like to give you a couple of minutes to have a look at it yourself, because they'll be telling you about all the things that they've done and everything else, and there's no disrespect to them selling, you know what I mean, but you're buying, you're the one parting with the dollars. So I would just take that time to go through it yourself, and with the things that I'm going to show you and tell you, just keep this stuff in mind. Basically start at the front of the bus. So we're not going to go into the roof stuff, because obviously you're not going to go climbing up on the roof and seeing if you can, and it's very difficult to actually establish whether the roof could or could not be rotten, you know. So yeah, about 99% of people buy buses and really don't check roofs, you know. Like on my last video I said, the rain tends to slow down as it travels down the bus, and I'll show you in this video why I keep referring to that. Okay, so you look at the front of the bus, and there are two places at the front of the bus that you should be very cautious about and that you need to examine. Okay, now I'm going to move in closer and just show you what I'm talking about. The bottom of the windscreen, right, you have where the rubber goes on the windscreen, in this area here, right, and I'm going to close in to prove my point, but believe it or not, there's fillers on here, right, and you can see that line there. Okay, and I hope, you know, I hope you're watching this on a PC rather than a phone, but right, if I got something there, I can actually crack that open. So the bottom of the windscreen, because it's at the bottom and not the top of the windscreen, but comes down here, and look, that's what you've got. So your windscreen fits in here with the rubber, right, and you must, with eagle eyes, look along here, all along, to make sure it all looks the same and that there is no variation in colour, etc., of the actual paint. Yeah, so you look all along here. Now if I step back a little bit and just try and show you that panel, right, is a big operation. Runs all the ways over. I'm going to try and show you with my finger, but it runs all the ways over to here and comes down here, and you'll see the seam, the joint. Now the first thing, if you haven't, or if you're not in the business of it, the first thing you want to do is have a look at the joint, right, the seam. Look for the depth and the width of the seam. This is man, woman or child. Look at the seam and go over and make sure the seam is exactly the same, because trust me, when they came out of the factory, you know, they were exactly the same. And here we can see that, look, so that's smooth up there. Now there's a giveaway straight away that there's fillers there, and then you should like have a rethink straight away, because if there's fillers there, this bus is not a clean, it's not a clean bus. It's not a bus without rust, right? So you know straight away now that the bus is carrying rust, or has been. It has, and maybe the seller will confirm this, right? Like I said, this panel, okay, is not a cheap panel to replace, primarily because the windscreen has to come out to do anything with it. And if you start pulling the windscreen, you know, that's major enough. Now So that's that front panel, okay? That's where the wipers, yeah? And the washers and the wiper holes, okay? This was a right-hand drive bus, okay? But that's irrelevant. They're sturdy enough as you go down through the bus. Here's the second place that you really need to concentrate, okay? And again, it proves what I'm saying. Look, I'm going to do this now anyway. But you see, the bottom of this panel, right? So your bumper would be on there, and your number plate would be on there, yeah? It's the outer valance is what it is, but that's irrelevant. It's the panel and here underneath it. So if the number plate is on here in the middle on the front of the bus, pry in there, you know, visually, get a look in here, usually in the middle, yeah? There'd be a grill there, and that is the area that you need to check for rust on the front bottom of the bus. And again, if it's rusted there, yeah, unless you know somebody who's going to take care of this for you and do this work for you, then okay, so there's 2 faults straight away, right? If it has both of those, that's 2 faults, and they're 2 major faults really, to deal with properly, yeah, to cut out and deal with properly. They're major. So that's the front of the bus. It's not so bad, you know. That's just the front of the bus. But those are 2 areas that if it has rust in those areas, you know, you mightn't have changed out of 1,000. You can call it whatever you want, $1,000 or €1,000 or £1,000 easily. But I'm not pricing up stuff or anything like that. I'm just telling you, you know, that. So that would be your indicator. Like I said, remember what you saw on the seam and the width and the look of it, okay? The pattern of it, if you can take that around with you. And like I said, the bottom of the windscreen, look. Now the rest of this is good. This is really good, right? All the way along. Now obviously you're not going to be able to see the lip that I'm talking about, but these lips tend to rot out, and if a bus is really bad, this will be rubbished. All this area will be, and can be bad. So like I said, if you're buying a bus and it's good, and you know, and the front panel here is good, then you're kind of like you're on the right track. And again, the bottom along there, if that is rusted and all bumpy and lumpy down there, unless you do what I do, forget about it. That's my, that's my advice as regards should you buy or should you, move on. So we've started at the front of the bus, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the passenger side of the bus, which is this piece here. Yeah? Now, what you do here is you open the door. Okay? This is the best example I can give you because this is wide open for us. Now, what you would have here is the step, and I'll show you this on Vera, the green bus that I'm working on. The step, if the step is rotted out, it's not the end of the world. It's you can get a nice replacement step for 30 or 40. I won't say dollars, pounds or euros, right? I'm not going to waste your time with that, but that's the kind of price that they are. And you can get a step, and that can be put in, and it won't be the end of the world, even if it needs both steps. And they may need both steps, right? If you're buying a bus, don't let that turn you off if the steps are rotted out of it. It's not the end of the world, right? The step goes here. As we move up, right? You can, if you're buying this bus or you come to look at it, you should be okay to lift the mats and stuff and have a look in under the mats, and that would be the footwell. Okay, I can show you that in my bus. An average bus will have good footwells. They shouldn't be rotted out of it. And then there's a box that sits here, and they're usually good under the seat. You won't get much opportunity to see that, but if you look in, so you can see where we're at here, right? And if you look in here, underneath, right, this arch, you'll see over the top tire, you'll see inside the box. and you can get an eyeball of it and make sure that that's good, you know. And then of course we're back to up here, so that's how you would work that whole area. It's not so bad if the step is gone. If the floor is gone, that's kind of, again, you know, it's easy enough access and it's easy enough to cut out and replace if the floor is gone, but you know. Now we're on to MOTs and NCTs, etc, etc, and if you have this kind of thing going on, yeah, if the seatbelt anchorage points are rotted out as this is, again you're at nothing. So you'll see me replacing these on Vera. I've done one, but like I said, I'm doing the other side, so you're going to be with me on that and you'll see me do it. You actually saw some photographs of this area, right? And again, you see, look, that's why it needs to be done. Yeah. And that seam I was telling you about up front, remember that seam and the width of it and the depth of it. You must watch every seam on these buses, transporters, whatever you want to call, or vans, whatever you want to call. Because if the seam is different, if it looks different, then it is different. And that only says one thing, that it's not factory. Someone has been in there and done stuff. Fillers, obviously, and you know, you can put like lines with hacksaw blades and stuff like that, you know, to put the groove back in and make it look good. So after you're finished, right, just before you finish on the B post, the A post being the one that comes down on the side of the windscreen, this is your B post, yeah? So you must look here, because again, yeah, behind the front wheel is where all the road and grime, muck, and yeah, that's where it goes in there. You'll see a picture of the dog looking through at me, and I had this panel cut out. I had removed this tank, yeah, and there's a hole there, see, so it's rotted out as well. Right, so that's the panel behind the front wheel. All the, you know, gets chunned up, and if it hasn't been kept clean, then it rots out. And it rots out, and it takes this with it, yeah? The outside skin. So you saw me there, I done a seam someplace here on mine, but you'll see that anyway. And I had to replace part of this B post. So moving on from there, you would look at the bottom channel along there, under the sliding door, yeah? So you check out and make sure that that channel, or that sill, I beg your pardon, that sill is in good order. And this isn't. As usual, the sill isn't in good order. It's completely rotted. And then what you want to do is, if you can, you want to check the bottom of the sliding door. Okay, the bottom of the sliding door. And that gets us now, your trailing arm goes off of that there, and it gets you to this seam here, which is what you saw me doing also. And if you check the seam and see what it looks like, and there is definitely fillers in here. That's not factory. That's possibly a little bit there, but there is fillers all the way along. The seam is kind of gone and hidden. So that would be, and you can see the rust coming out of this, but obviously a bus you'd buy wouldn't have rust hanging like them stains, yeah? Above that arch, right, you have this panel, and what you do is you look up under that panel, because the rail for the slider is on there, and that sometimes rusts. Now I've taken out the seal just a little earlier here, but if you pop it up, right, you won't get it off that easy, and you won't be able to get it off if you're buying the bus. Basically what I'm saying is, have a look up from underneath. So you would be looking up here underneath, yeah, to see if there was any rust, and there sometimes is. So unfortunately, again, I'm showing you the areas that are prone to rust, and from the top you wouldn't be seeing this obviously, but that's very clean, in fairness. It's clean. Now if you were buying, okay, so now we've travelled, we've done the front of the bus, we've done along the side of each piece. You can replay this, but that's that panel, see? That's the panel that the doggy was looking through as you step into the, as you go into the side here through the sliding door. And again we have a window here. Now this is a real window bus, so maybe this angle is better for you to see what I'm talking about. And again, the slowest point for water to move away off is where the water stays the longest, and it's where you get this beautiful stuff called rust. Yeah, so just think about that. There it is, right there. It's evidenced again that the slowest point away, you know, there it is in the corner, typical. So this is really good all the way along, and we get to the back corner, and lo and behold, look, there it is again. So look, if you're looking at a bus and you're looking at windows, start at the edges, right? Start at the edges. Look, it's evidenced. I'm not kind of making this up. And for you guys, you know, for those of you that know what you're doing and talking, and I apologize, and then you're probably watching the wrong video. This is my experience, and I've been asked, like I said earlier in the introduction, I've been asked to do a video. So this video is basically for any man, woman, or young fella, young girl, or whatever, and they want to go out and they want to buy a T25, and they want to carry a little knowledge with them that you know, that they're not going to bring home a rust bucket like Joe would. But yeah, so now we're onto the back of the bus, and T25s are fairly okay as regards the back end of them. So we started with the front, we've moved on here to down the passenger side, because this is a right hand drive, yeah, and now we're going to do the back of the bus. And here's the back of the bus. Like I said, give me a second and I'll rise this. Rise her up like that, and as you can see, guys, you know, even these apertures where the tail lights go, really very good. Okay, that's where it's had a ding, and it's had a few, it's been backwards, but overall you can see, yeah, they're really good as regards to, you know, they don't really rust out there. What you do have is you have this little panel here, right, and you saw me replacing that, and you will see me replacing it on the other side of Vera, right? So I will be getting around, I have this side done, and I will be doing this side, okay? So you'll see me do that, and inside that is, that's what it looks like. You see, got all those little cuts. Yeah. You've got these battery boxes on the inside. So when you open the back door or gate, and you have your engine cut out here, aperture for your engine, and you have these on each side, battery boxes. And here's an example. Look, see, There's those zigzags again what I showed you on the other side. So they tend to rust out. This area, you know, where it meets this chassis, it rusts out. Okay, we've done the front, we've gone down the passenger side on a right hand drive, we've done the back here, and now we're going to work up from the back. So if you remember in my last video I said to you the panel that has the fridge, yeah, and the other cutouts, and there's underneath the worst part of it. Again, you know, like I said, that's where they go. So we're gonna come around. So this was the little panel that you saw on the very back tail piece of the bus. Just for those who haven't and wouldn't know, I wanted to have a look. That's the makeup of it there. Panel, and goes inside here. Yeah, inside this one. Again, we have windowed bus and no damage, nothing. It's okay. Now I haven't taken, like I said, there was a seal. I haven't taken the seal out here, but we'll try and get a look up underneath. Maybe we can see. And that's what you would see if you had a look. You might see a little more, but you know what? It's perfect. It's all good up there. Yeah. Actually, that's the best I can get you. Yeah. Now we're back to seam and seam rash. This panel was good, so it was cut off. Yeah, because original panels or OEM panels, they're better than, you know. And this is a single skin. I will use this as an example in another video. Yeah, and that's the lad again. As you can see, he's never really far away. And he wants this. Right, anyway, it's a windowed bus. I say that because Vera is not a windowed bus. Vera was a transporter, which is a panelled van, basically a panelled van, and the windows have been cut out. So I'll get to that in a while. Again, you want to check that the seams are good, yeah, and there has been filler in this one. See, you just, you know, like I said, when you get at the very first, you'll see. And the sill is completely shot on this bus, yeah. And loads of filler. There's filler there. That is filler. Look, see? So you gotta watch out, guys. That's what you gotta, you know, get the seam. I know the camera isn't going to show this, but there's a depth of filler on this. Yeah, and it's made look like that it's a factory job, but it isn't. So some little bits are good and have been good on it, but and then we get up. That's the back of the fridge, like I showed you on Vera. And again, you see, you can see what's going on in there, and that is the worst part right there, and it happens to be under the fridge. I wonder why. Now we're onto the B pillar, on the driver's side. Yeah, there's your wheel arch and your filler for your fuel, and that's more of it. So the areas that I've shown you are the areas that are prone to rust out before any other part of it. Yeah, down around here, because it catches a lot of the road grime that's sent back, hurtling back off of the front wheel. Yeah, that goes in that direction, so it spins it back there and it fills this area up and clogs it up all around the filler pipe going to the tank. This little tank is up here inside. I'm holding it up, but it's in there, and muck and grime gets all blasted in around that, and some people do look after them really well and get that area washed out. The seatbelt anchorage isn't too bad here, and again you would just go for the floors. You would check your, like I said, the step, and then come up to the floor itself, yeah, where your pedals would be if it's a left-hand drive, and check around there, and then the little box under the seat, under the passengers and driver's seat, that area. Obviously you can't go in the bus and start ripping up floors and things. I'm showing you what to look out for as regards rust. I think that pretty much covers it. Thank you for suggesting the idea, and I will do this on all my videos to come on the different vehicles that I'll be restoring, different VW vehicles that I'll be restoring. I have got an old Range Rover, and if I ever run out I'll be going on the Landy and doing that, but I don't see that happening anytime soon, to be honest. I think this was a better way of documenting what to look for, because I could actually you know, up close and show you with all these pieces being dissected. I will come back to you guys with another video, and it'll probably be on the next one. I will shoot some more on this panel and some offcuts, because before I ever done a T25 I was intrigued as to how does that panel actually go on there, you know, and how big a job is it to remove it, and if I remove that, will I be able to put it back? I think that's a concern that a lot of people out there with T25s, when they endeavour or go ahead, go on this job, because it goes in there, okay, that's the seam along the top, and it's turned, right, it's folded, and it's got about 20 mil that goes in there. You don't know this when you buy a T25, obviously, but that's the actual way it goes in. And you'll see in the last video where I gave some shots of it being plug welded, you'll see how it goes together. I'm hoping that helped, but I did also film a piece and it was just too dark and I wasn't happy with the content, and it's getting a little dark now again, but basically I want to show you the whole panel. So on the next video I'm going to be covering that in depth, because I know, like, even myself, I was wondering, can I, if I went and got the full panel, you know, rather than a skin, would it be an easy job or a hard job or whatever? And I know that that's a question a lot of people would be asking themselves, because we're all the same at the end of the day. We all have the same, you know, and sometimes we go for something that looks a bit simpler because we A, don't have the confidence to go at it and do it, or B, we think, oh, maybe if I bought that I'd only end up cutting it up because I can't actually, you know, install that. Because when you're replacing panels, sometimes you can access panels and sometimes you have to cut panels out of your way to access panels, you know, and maybe some people wouldn't like to do that. Okay, so that's the lot out there. I think these cuts have served their purpose really well. Just in case anybody gets back as regards parts and stuff, a lot of the cuts on this stuff is spoken for, so yeah. So here we go, guys. On the last video I was trying to show you the steps, and I couldn't really, the lighting wasn't great at the time. So here you'll see that's a new step that has been put in there, yeah, and it's got K-rust on it, which, you know, will prevent it from rusting. I'll go into that and those products on another video. That's the footwell. So that's the area that you would lift the mats up to see how it is, where you would put your feet basically. And yeah, so the underdoors, as you're in this area, you would just check that underneath there is good and work your way up along here. And if that bolt, that nut, no, sorry, a bolt, there's a bolt there. Again, I've put the K-rust on that, but I will talk about those products in another video. Maybe the next video I'll speak about those. But yeah, so the bottom of that door is good, so is the driver's door. And from there you would work back along and you would check the sill, like I said earlier. And now we're looking at the sliding door, obviously along the bottom of the windows, yeah. Now this also I wanted to mention was, this was, like I said, it was a panel van originally, and so the aperture for the window is slightly different and it would take a different rubber, etc. And that's how you would distinguish whether it's a panel van originally or whether it's a proper windowed bus. And again, along here at the bottom of the side window, on the sliding door, and then what's behind it is this panel. Closing the door here, you can kind of hear and see. And this panel, again, you want to look underneath there, yeah. A finicky enough repair. Now that's just a single panel, a single skin on there, and the panel has been cut out and the window's been put in, or the glass and rubber seal. So yeah, now back to the sliding door, guys. That's it, kind of open, right? I will be investing in a lens that will be able to do this a bit better, but we're at the bottom of the door here, as you can see. And what I'm going to try and show you is that when you open the door, yeah, it's just about half open, and if we get the lighting in here, you'll be able to see, like I said, you'll be able to see the bottom of the door. So I'm trying to set up lights here as well. But yeah, so when I said you put your hand like this, you'll be able to see and feel all the way along the bottom of the door. And like I said, yeah, you'll be able to see it as well. I actually thought it was a little bit more hidden than that, but yeah, you'll be able to see the bottom of the sliding door. They tend to rot out as well, so you see, there's quite a good view of it there, and that's what you're looking for. That'll be like, you know who in the background. That's Busty, yeah. And then, guys, and the same again, and then we're round to the back tailgate, yeah, which is here, and we're almost done now. So again, at the bottom of the tailgate, so I'm looking up at it, and so are you, and it's along this area. That area is good. Now we're getting towards the centre, and I've put that K-rust there just to hold it for now, but this is going to be a repair job because you see, not the best. So the bottom of the tailgate, and this is probably the worst corner then. Yeah, that'll need doing. And again, you see the paint, and that's your indicator. When you see the different colours that shouldn't be there, it's almost at the middle. So if I come back from it, tripping over my tripod, you get an idea there. Looking at it, that right corner, and about 2/3 of the way into half, and that's it. The difference between a windowed bus and a van with cut-in windows, etc. So that's it, guys. This one's ran quite a while. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that there's a lot in it to take in, but like I said, if you start at the beginning, at the front of the van, and work your way around, it's a process. It shouldn't take really any more than five minutes to get done, but I went in detail with it because that's what I like to do generally. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't like missing stuff out and then someone coming back maybe afterwards and saying, oh, this, that or the other. Like, no, you know, it's about detail. Please hit the like button, yeah, and again, thanks to all the subscribers who have subscribed thus far. I really appreciate your subscriptions. It'll help grow this channel. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. That'll help me out greatly. And just having known that, you know, I'm out there to enough people that when I do, you know, give the examples of how it is to actually get really good welds. Initially, I have these videos of the welding captured, and I know exactly what and how to take, you know, people who haven't welded before and who want to try it or whatever, to how to get you to that level. 1 millimeter, welding 1 millimeter is the key. Yeah, if you can weld 1 millimeter, you can weld any millimeter. That's it. So for people, again, I won't go into detail now, but for people who have who's able to weld 6 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 20 millimeters, 50 millimeters, people who can weld that thickness, right? It's a whole different ball game. Welding 1 millimeter, and we're talking 1 millimeter, and that is the best place to start welding. It's so light, everything can happen, and if you can weld that, like I said a minute ago, you can weld anything. So I'm really looking forward to getting into those videos, and I know you guys too, you are too. So with that, take care until the next one. Again, thanks very much for all the subscriptions thus far, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That'll help me out greatly and encourage me to come out and do some more stuff with you guys. That's it. Over and out. Ciao.